Note to self: take the Redfall clip out of intro video. All right.
All right.
It's a decent edit.
What's up, everybody? It's Sunday night. It's 7 p.m. It's that time again. This is time when we get a whole bunch of people together. We talk crap about Adam in the chat. So,
Ooh.
yeah, we got to have somebody, right? We got to have a bouncing. Fork's not here anymore, to give a lot of shit to. Bomber's not going to be here tonight. So we got to harass somebody during the show. So Adam, you're it. All right. But anyway, let's get this shit going. Hopefully the caffeine kicks in really, really soon. So we're going to start off with our guest in the bottom right corner. It's been a very long time since we've actually had this man on the show. I was so happy he agreed to come. Dan, what is going on, dude? And what have you been up to?
As little as possible, actually, man. I've been I mean, there was one day I remember on Twitter where you just disappeared, and I did not know your account had been whatever kicked off or booted or whatever like that. And then you messaged me. I was like, son of a bitch. I was wondering what all my dirty memes were, and yeah, I've been I just do the big cast in the mornings on Sunday. I can't remember what time. 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock
Central. Yeah, 11 Eastern. I just kind of float around these days. Just kind of enjoy the anonymity almost. Not having to worry too much about. Because I used to jump on podcasts all the time, and it got to the point where I was just like, man, I got to slow down. You got to slow down. If one's a lot.
Especially at your age, I get it.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's you get a lot more responsibilities the older you get, and the wife, has a midlife crisis, and I got to go do stuff with her, and it's just like, man. I mean, she's my wife. I'm not complaining about it, a little bit, but it's just
it doesn't sound like
it's a lot of it sounded like it's a lot of hanging out with her family, which can be good or bad depending on who shows up. So, but I'm glad to be back, man. I'm super excited, man. This is gonna be fun. Good vibes.
Glad to have you back.
Yes, sir.
It's been a very long time. We didn't do any shows last year.
Yeah,
very few.
I'm ready.
And for his first time on Gaming Beyond the Box, Mr. Sensei, what have you been up to, sir?
Oh shit, that's me.
That would be you.
That would be me. Nothing much, man. Thank you. I said this before we went live. Thank you for inviting me to the show. I haven't done a guesting podcast in quite some time. And I figured this would be the right time to come back. And embarrassingly so, I just started watching your pod and subscribed a couple of weeks ago, and I don't regret it. There's one of those things was like listening to you guys just talk. It's like party chats I'm involved in with my circles. It's like, yeah, I like this podcast. I like the flow. I like the ambiance and the way you guys have these openly conversations, and nothing's off the table, and I like it. So, but I'm happy you invited me, and I appreciate the invite. I played with Scrub a couple of times. Some of you I know through Twitter. Just happy to be here, man.
And it's good to have you, sir. Always good to have somebody new on. Well, sometimes we've done that before and we've regretted it. Sure. I can think of one person in particular. We won't mention any names.
Well, I'm hoping I don't become that guy. It's like, oh shit.
No, this dude was really awkward. I mean, it was awkward the whole time because he kept demanding to turn on his camera, and we were all in the little private chat over here. We hope this motherfucker turns off the camera because he was scaring people in the chat.
What in the hell is wrong with people?
I mean, I was literally getting messages on Twitter going, "Did you really invite this dude?" Yeah, I kind of did. I didn't see a picture of him first.
Well, that's what I told you when you invited me to. That's exactly the time. Like, hey, you're probably gonna get some weird messages about me. So,
oh no, dude, it was this guy's appearance. It was just, wow. It was. If Bomber was here, he could tell you all about it. But it was not a good night at all. So, yeah, and I couldn't at the time. I couldn't control his camera, so I couldn't shut it off. So, yeah, we had to go 2 hours with everybody staring at this guy's face. and it was really odd. Really odd.
Not good. Not good.
I mean, I could think of worse things to stare at, probably.
Well, you had to see his face. I'm not going to mention too much about it because if he's in the chat, he might figure out who we're talking about.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, it was weird. Anyway, he looked like one of the meth heads I've run into on occasion. All right. And then next to Dan, we have the official drummer for Gaming Beyond the Box and my good friend Scrub Nurse. What's going on, dude?
Boom. What's up, people? Having a good time. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Glad to be here. Good to see Sensei. Play some Call of Duty with him. Hashtag pew pew.
Dan, thanks for the carry, by the way. Thanks for the carry.
Dan, good to see you as well. We're gonna talk some games. We're gonna have some fun. We definitely have enough to fill up whatever time we have to talk about today. So should be good. Let's get at it.
All right. And then to his left, we have the panel pony pusher. What's up, Piniac?
What's up, guys? What's going on tonight? Sunday. Let's do it. Chat. Hope you're ready for this. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I know.
You really got to contain yourself, dude. I'm telling you.
I know. Yeah, I
You
haven't
sound
played
more
much.
excited than last week.
That energy level is just above and beyond, dude. I mean, I'm surprised they don't kick us off YouTube.
I know.
All right.
Yeah. I'm done.
One of these days
For now.
you'll get excited. We just don't know what does it. And we may not want to know. All right. And then to my right, what is up, Mr. Centurion? And what have you been up to?
What is up? And what have I been up to? Not much. Just trying to get in gaming when I can. For whatever reason, like I was telling you earlier, I decided to dive into Gollum. Apparently, I like the pain of playing very questionable games. But other than that, also playing Jedi Survivor. So, hey, man, it's business as usual around here.
All right. Fair enough. And me.
There's the PlayStation showcase, but I didn't figure I'd start talking about that yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. And me, I decided to go back and take a walk into backwards and go back to Phantom Pain.
I saw you posting about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's in my backlog. I'm curious what you say about it.
I played the game on the Xbox when it came out and completed it. And it was in the catalog for PlayStation Plus. So I grabbed it and I'm like, maybe I can do another run through of this one. And I remember how long the cutscenes are now. Holy
Oh my
shit. God. I mean, it's like the first hour and 30 minutes is you trying to get out of the hospital. And yeah, you can do some controlling, but I mean, it's mainly like a big movie.
Yeah.
Then I remember Kojima. So
Yeah. Starring, directed by, edited by.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just re-downloaded it to remember the game because I played it when it first came out, and it's just not my cup of tea. Like I enjoy the original Metal Gear Solids. That one was not my cup of tea.
Yeah, the beginning, if you get through all the cinematics, it's not as bad. But the controls and everything are a little iffy.
That's what everybody's telling me. It gets good 10 hours in. I'm like, 10 hours? The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it does eventually open up and you get to do, what you want. But there are still a lot of massively long cutscenes you have to deal with. And, of course, Kojima won't let you skip them. So,
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're not allowed to skip them.
You'll miss his artistic expression. That's the whole point of the game.
No skip for you.
No skip.
I do say if you play this game and you encounter what they call the skulls in this game, you realize that's where some of your people came from for Death Stranding.
Right. And speaking of Deadpool,
Yeah,
What's up?
Well, Dreadpool, since you just walked in, tell us what you've been up to and what you've been playing.
I've been playing some more Dead Island 2, playing some games with the wife, trying to play hide from the kids, typical life stuff.
You only got one kid there, right?
Well, the
Daddy
daughter
knows.
Tiny Giant decided to have a sleepover, so now that they're having a summer. Yeah, so her and her BFF decided to come over and raise hell for the past couple of days. And I'm bored. I want to do something. So you know how that goes.
Oh my God.
Play
Oh,
that
I
kind of
remember.
game.
I remember I raised 2 daughters, dude. I remember
So-
very well how that goes.
So we decided, we'll shove Dead Island 2 in front of them.
There you go. Good wholesome entertainment.
Yep.
Hey, Wilmy, does that Metal Gear Solid 5 or whatever, does it run, like, didn't it get an upgrade on the new gen consoles, or?
It looks like it did, yeah. It
Did
looks
it?
really good.
Man.
Yeah, it looks really good on the PS5.
I guess it,
I'm not starting anything with Diablo right
Yeah,
around
that's
the
the problem.
corner.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the problem. Diablo's a few days away, and I'm like,
Yep.
I want to play something I know I'm not going to dedicate a lot of time to.
Yeah,
Because when Diablo hits, that's the end of it.
that's bad news.
Oh, yeah. Nothing else is going to be touched for a while.
That's all right though.
Poor wife.
Exactly.
That Ultimate Edition.
Yep. Because I think we get ours, in just a couple of days, right? 3-4 days?
Second.
I think Thursday
Yeah.
at 7 p.m. It opens up.
Oh, nice. Nice. And cyber, we are actually going to talk about that, sir. I have heard through the grapevine that, that this is a thing now, which I think is really funny. So, but, there's been a lot of weird shit happen in the last couple of days.
That's true.
So, yeah, a lot.
Might have the turntables.
I thought there was a
Third
white
table.
knighting convention that started somewhere.
Whoa. What are you talking about there, man?
I'm talking about a bunch of people got together and figured out how they were going to damage control this situation.
Oh,
and they all decided
oh,
to
oh.
become a bunch of white knights.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other thing.
Yeah, I was about to say this is the wrong podcast.
That's
huh?
yeah.
No,
This ain't one of those podcasts.
everybody left their pillowcases at home.
Yeah, let me back out quietly.
But I'm going to start off by saying I watched the showcase. I made it a point to have the time allotted to sit down and watch it. I was in my recliner, right on. Actually, I was 10 minutes early. I was all excited to watch it, and man, I had a lot of hopes for this show. And actually, we did our entire show last week was talking about what we expected to see. And man,
we was wrong. Oh my lord.
we were way out.
I don't think anything hit.
I mean,
Well, Spider-Man and Final Fantasy 16 were there, so
No.
I think that's
Well,
about as close as we got.
Everything I said hit. Everything to the exact T. Right? Isn't that how we're supposed to do that? We just changed the narrative, and we didn't say that. There's no audio evidence. There's no video
but
evidence.
man,
No, what it was, Dredd, is that it's going to be on the next show. The
Oh,
secret
yeah.
Oh,
show.
Next
You don't know
Um,
about. That's when it's going to come.
I'm telling you, I don't know if I almost thought it was a joke at first.
Can I at least just throw on real quick that I didn't want to burst like the flow of the show last week, but that's where if you kind of watch TXR, the show I did after this, I kind of threw my 2 cents out there. Like I was looking forward to what the showcase was going to present, but that show went down exactly the way I thought it was.
Well, you should have gave us the winning lottery numbers because I think
I
you
mean,
were the only person.
I'm with Saterion. I had my expectations set low for it. I didn't expect it.
I didn't. Well, for me, I didn't have expectations. It was more like I was looking for like. This is where I feel fucked up. But the night before, see, I keep track of all my videos on my desktop, and I put them all in folders. I got like OCD when it comes to content creation, and I made a folder that said PS show concerns, and that was the night before.
Mhm.
And I was just like, that's one of those moments where you're like, I hope to God I am proved wrong. And no, I mean, if you look at what Herman Holst has been saying and the direction of Sony from closing studios like Pixel Opus, Sony right now is majorly focused on games as a service, and the single player experiences that they are wanting to develop for are experiences that are going to sell about 15 to 20 million copies plus. and they don't have time for any single player experience that's going to
Well,
sell 5 to 10
if
million
we've been paying
copies.
attention to exactly what you're saying, if you pay attention to these executive heads and the conversation, the speeches, and the talk and the wording they've been using in the last year or so, you would know the showcase was not going to be like some grand reveal of eight exclusives coming to PlayStation. None of that was going to happen. I just like you, I created a bingo card the night before because I do that with any showcase or anything with news related when it comes to games, and a lot of what I put on my bingo card came true. And I'm like, well, I'm okay. I wish it didn't, but it did. I kind of knew third parties were going to be the thing, and little indie games here and there, and Spider-Man was going to be the big one.
I was at least hoping they would touch on Wolverine.
They
Was it
didn't
just
do
me?
any third-party exclusives either, though.
Well, was it
No,
me
no.
or was it maybe the YouTube channel I was watching? Spider-Man 2, I don't think it looked that great. On the
I watched
which
I
I
watched-
It
I watched
well,
the show,
it was
like-
an early build they showed us.
No, I watched it much later. If you guys saw, I couldn't watch it live, so I didn't get to see it till about 3 hours and 45 minutes later. And even then, the stream that I watched, it's not live or anything. It's just a video on YouTube, and the entire thing was choppy. But I've watched like the actual one that it's the proper trailer and it's 4K and it's all that stuff.
Mhm.
But and it looks good. But I think the problem is that I would assume that we all have 4K HDR TVs, right? YouTube's not
yeah.
HDR, so it
not,
still
right.
looks dull, right? And I think that's the disconnect.
Well,
Personally.
I think part of it is everybody's so hyper focused on frames and resolution.
Absolutely.
I was busy looking at the gameplay more so than that. I didn't care. It looked good. It looked like
Gameplay
Spider-Man,
looked good, really good.
but the mechanics, and seeing the Venom action, I was like, this is cool. So to me, that's what I was looking at more so. I wasn't sitting there nitpicking all these little there's 3 blades of grass on this one.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
if you look back, and you see, if you see the HUD, there's an L1 HUD, and I think those are your special attacks that have cooldowns.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be like the one where he did the 4 symbiote arms out and smoked 4 guys, and that's probably
he
a
smoked the
special
4 guys.
attack. And
Yeah.
so there's gonna be a lot. Like the first one, you do your things, and then there's a combo takeout, and that's pretty much
I
the
didn't notice
really, right? But
I didn't notice any puddles. I see that they've kept those away.
lots of water
Puddlegate,
though, right?
Puddlegate 2.
Mhm.
I did notice though that when he was swinging around on the river, on the water, like when Peter was swinging, you can see the water trails on the water itself, like it was reacting to him swinging.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, little touches like that, I'm cool with. They don't have to be there, and I wouldn't dock them for not having it like that. I mean, obviously, if you swing into the water and you're like glitching through it, then there'd be a problem. But at the same time, is it going to kill your gameplay? Is it really going to affect anything? It's just a glitch. Whoopie-doo. You just move on.
The biggest thing I noticed, and I'm going to ask for anybody in the chat or anybody that watches this show later, is playing and fighting in foam really a thing across the pond, or is it just me?
God, what the fuck was that
What are you
game?
talking
You know what?
remember
In the
foam
fuck-
parties
Yeah, we used to do foam
In the
parties down
90s.
here.
no,
in the bars? Foam parties.
Square Enix talks about their profits are down. I can't fucking understand why.
Splatoon 4, you mean?
You
Yeah.
watch that'll
That's
be
something.
that'll be not a free to play game, and then guess what? 3 months after it comes out,
Oh, we're not making any money.
Our
it was very weird to
expectations.
see Square Enix do that game. Like when I saw the name splash, I was like, "Oh, Square Enix doing the game." And saw the colors on it. I'm going, "What is this?" And then they showed that. I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's Square Enix. They doing this?
The
It
funny
is.
Really doing
Did-
this?"
Did it also not seem very Western? Even though
It's
it was-
flattered me
yeah.
there.
You know what I mean? Even though it was
graphics look so
Splatoon,
bad.
it seemed very Western for it, and,
Well, since
and
I
they
live
don't
at the
like
beach,
Western.
I wanted to go get a lot of shaving cream and get like surfboards and just put foam all over the street and see how many people I could get to join in. But sadly, I got arrested for littering.
That happens.
The graphics compared to the cutscene on the little cutscene that they had for it It was it. I was like, wow, how bad looking does this
Pretty much
game look?
forgot that game actually. Now then you
Yeah,
said
And
it.
I
see,
wrote-
the bad part,
God,
I
so
don't-
I said it. They do one game well, and that is Final Fantasy.
woohoo, next month.
That's
Their bread and
it.
butter.
Everything else they make or touch blows,
I mean,
and I think they're so far out of touch.
Tomb Raider
I
reboot.
would've-
Unfortunately
I'll
for
at
me,
least
I don't
they just
play
published
Final
it.
Fantasy.
I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. That was Square Enix, right?
That was really good.
They published. it.
I'm gonna say
yeah.
at least that was like the kind of like
Published, yeah.
rogue for me.
No, that game was awesome.
Kingdom Hearts.
But it's
you know, the biggest thing about that whole showcase was I noticed the older I get, the less I'm interested in, just across the board. Historically, I would say within the last 10 years, maybe like mid PS4, Xbox One, you know, Sony has provided what I'm looking for. And I like those big, long, story-driven narratives, third
Mhm.
person. You know, that's just my cup of tea. I enjoy that kind of stuff. With that being said, there was one game, and that would have been Spider-Man, and that would have been it out of that whole showcase. So people talk about lowering expectations all the time, but I don't think we should. I think we should really set them kind of high for these guys.
Well,
You know, and coming out and saying, "Oh, it's going to be some first party," and this, you know, what they said even just before the thing, it just didn't seem to ring true with what we actually saw. You know, a lot of third party games, 12 or 25, I don't know how many it was. Tons of them are coming to the Xbox, which is great for Xbox. You know, basically got a free show out of that deal. You know, and I don't know, man. I'm not going to write them off though. I mean, if you want to
See,
sit
Dan,
down and break down
I'm-
the numbers, I mean, it's disgusting what they're doing as far as like selling their
See,
consoles and stuff and games.
I kind of think similar like that, Dan, because like for being an Xbox guy for a long, I'm used to shows like that, like the way they present
Right.
this PlayStation showcase, and I was expecting, and I always expect when it comes to the Sony showcases to blow me away, show me exclusives, show me things that they're gonna want me to buy that system. And go, wow,
Exactly.
this is awesome. This is
Right.
amazing. I wasn't disappointed with the show because again, I'm used to seeing third party indies on the Microsoft side of things, and it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that for Sony, I expected them to come, you know, swinging. Like this is it. This is our
Right,
showcase.
Right.
I mean,
especially
2
when it's been
years-
so long. Yeah.
yeah, 2
If
years
they-
of no
if they would have
showcase. and-
called it an extended state of play,
Extended,
then
yes.
there's nothing to talk about.
Correct.
And who the
Right.
hell shows a movie trailer during a gaming
It's
showcase?
definitely a choice. It's
I
This is when I put my
I'm like,
my
there's-
fake
I'm
pony
like,
head on.
ain't no way, man.
When you
There's
got that
no
many
way.
eyes, you got to show that trailer off. When you got that many eyes watching your show, there's the opportunity for them to show it. But it's like it was
Yeah.
weird. The show that was very well. I'm like, why? That was a weird break in the action.
There should have been some sort of content to go with it though, so that way not only promoting the movie,
Mhm.
promoting the game, and be like,
Game,
bam,
tie it
here's
in.
the
And
here's
by the
this,
way,
or-
here's the VR2 headset you can buy everywhere now. right?
something
Or some
to tie in
DLC
with it.
related item, like you're gonna get the drivers from the movie in the game or something weird, something just DLC.
Show
related across the whole-
maybe a screen, just a screen of the next GT. You know what I
Right.
mean? Coming, and then boom, here you go. Check out the movie. You can relive it later on down the road, whatever, or you just assets from the movie. Put it in the current game and say, after you watch the movie, come back home and relive the movie as
Mhm.
you in the seat. Come on, stuff like that. It was a missed opportunity. I mean, why? Just the
would
movie
have been
itself,
awesome to promote GT VR at that moment if they had that going. You know, like that would have
That's
been
it, yeah.
like a perfect time right there.
By the way, PSVR 2 is down to $300. Buy it now and play GT in VR.
And
Boom.
available in stores now.
You
No-
blow
no
'em up.
longer, no longer
Best Buy.
have to order it through the online services of Sony. You can buy it at Best Buy or Walmart, wherever you want to buy it at.
Right?
I think they're selling too many of them to lower the price right now. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that. I thought for sure it would have just 3 months in and we would be. I mean, I'm not a big VR guy, but I thought for sure it would have dropped in price by now. But
No,
it didn't. But they've sold. It's outselling the first headset at that price point, which is insane to me.
And only
Insane
in
to me.
a specific US storefront too, which probably 90-80% of people
Right.
don't even know about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
craziness. But they get comfortable sometimes. I think the same can be said about a lot of them. I mean, Nintendo is always just Nintendo, but PlayStation likes to, they come out and they come out swinging all the time, and they
Grand
they got
staging.
they got
Grand
yeah, 100%. They need to, be humbled, and I'm waiting for that to really happen. I need, when the Xbox showcase coming up in 2 weeks, I think they have an incredible opportunity to come out and be like, this is what our future looks like. And that's what I want to
It better
see.
be better than this show. I'll tell you.
But
I mean, it'd be hard not to be.
I know.
well,
Hey,
yeah,
you know-
but the thing is, every time I see Aaron Greenberg online, the dude is showing off mantinis, a pair of sneakers. I mean,
I don't like
let's-
any of these execs. I think they're all full of
it's
crap.
like I think not. Yeah, I agree. And it's like somebody. I mean, my Xbox has dropped the ball so many times.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get. Maybe this time they will nail it. And it's
just
like you
remember-
guys just say it. PlayStation set the bar pretty damn low.
Yeah,
Very
just
low.
remember though, just because you can make a pizza and pizza's easy to make doesn't mean that people haven't screwed it up. So I have no expectations there either. I'm not saying have lower. I'm just saying I don't have any. And
So-
again, I think the lower expectation part of it is that people get way overhyped, and that's why they're like lower those overhyped expectations. And you should expect something. You should want something to be there. So it's not like you don't want anything. I mean, then why even have a show?
Well, it's an hour and a half show, right? And so it's not even going to have Starfield or Forza. That is going to be completely separate. So you've got all these games that they showed 2 to 3 years ago, like Avowed, and I don't think Fable is going to show up at all. But
What about Contraband? Remember that one?
I want-
Yeah,
I want
Contraband. What's the
Avowed.
one from? What's the
Talk to me
one
about Indiana Jones.
like
Yeah,
Everwild or like all
Yeah.
those ones that they showed?
Probably
Even
won't
Perfect
see
Dark,
those
maybe
either.
we can show some of this. Maybe Indiana Jones. We could. It wouldn't take much for people to kind of get their mindset going. Okay, now this is what I wanted to see. Because I mean I've have so many Xbox. I was a primary. I didn't have a PS3. I didn't get a PS4 till probably halfway through the life cycle. So I was primarily Xbox, and I played a lot of that. All most of my digital library is there. I prefer the controller. There's a lot of things I prefer, but you get to a point where it's just like, okay, this is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on,
wait
man.
till next year thing.
Yeah, it just kind of ticks me off. I got in that Game Pass, I got like 4 years or 3 years or whatever it was, like out the box. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be able to play all these first party games, and it's just like, yeah, I got Crackdown, and then Sea of Thieves. I played some of that, and but I see stuff like State of Decay 2. I know it's kind of a, maybe a lot of the people don't play it, but that game is so freaking good.
Oh, I love
play-
State of Decay too.
I've got so like hundreds of hours into that game. I'm
Me
super
too.
pumped for State of Decay 3.
They keep updating that game too. They just released
Yes.
a new update for it.
Right.
Lot
Like
of
Cyber
support.
says in the chat, like it's Hellblade 2. I think we 100% we should be able to get some of that.
Oh, you heard about that part, right?
100%. I have not.
For me, the showcase, if they show Avowed, if they
Yeah.
show me Avowed, if they show me a blowout event like what they did with Spider-Man for Hellblade 2 at the very end, just show me
Oh.
just pure gameplay of that game.
100%.
I know it's not coming out this year, but just
I hope not. It's my
blowout
counterpick
of
fantasy crib.
show me how it plays, about that, maybe something from Contraband, things that you spoke about last year. Where's that at right now? Like, show me that. Like, if you could do
Yeah, give me
that,
some updates.
give me some State of Decay, give me that update on that. Like, show me that, and I'll be happy. I'll be okay with the showcase.
Right. There's 25 games that Sony just showed that you don't have to now. Like we don't need to see any of that. I want
I
all
hope
fresh
not.
stuff.
I hope we
We're
don't.
I
good.
like Paul Tassie's tweet. He's like, that PlayStation show had way too many Xbox games.
You're right, man.
We're
good
going
there.
to a Foam
It-
Stars
it
deep
was
dive on the Xbox
Yeah.
showcase. Foam Stars deep dive.
I wouldn't be
I will
surprised.
say- I will say this about the PlayStation Showcase, and this is the thing that they still do well, and they still did it correctly, is that they just showed games. Jim Ryan had a blurb for
Yeah.
like 30 seconds, and the entire rest of the thing was just games.
And also earbuds in a queue.
Well, I
Yeah.
felt at the end when
But,
Jim Ryan came out, I felt like he was talking to like his investors at the end.
I
hope we've
I was like-
convinced you, and it's like, whoa, like what are you talking about?
I looked
He
away
just-
from the TV and I was like, what the fuck? This is the last game? It's like, where are the first parties?
Yeah, Jim Wright was like, "We're sorry, this is all we got.
Pretty
Please."
much. Pretty
Twat.
much.
And that handheld. Give me a
Please love
Now-
us.
The handheld is completely useless. I'm sorry. That's like a screen
Yeah, it's
door on a
always a
submarine.
So dumb.
But now
It's my next gen
pod-
Wii U.
The only
I
thing I'll
dubbed
give
it-
it
I
is
dubbed
that
it the
I bet
PU,
you it'll be
the
the
Sony
most
PU.
comfortable handheld just because
Those
it's
ear
the
pods
DualSense,
have
but-
my interest.
Yeah, the earbuds. Yeah, those
Yeah.
those are looking sleek. I like that.
Yeah, I like those, but that little handheld thing, that's just
Yeah, I dubbed it
I
the
don't think that's
PU.
going to sell very well.
But do they have
Yeah,
the
No chance.
audio 3D sensing stereoscopic?
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
they
blah,
will,
blah, blah.
and the battery, it'll kill the battery to death, and it'll be overpriced.
But
But you
it'll
can't
be-
even.
sell.
Dual
It'll
sense
be in
for
your
the ears.
it'll be in your ear hole, so it won't be like contoured to your ear shape.
Dual
the thing,
sense
it's-
for the ear. It's gonna shake the ear and everything, vibrate.
Are you guys talking about the earbuds or the Q thing?
Either
No,
way,
the
I
ear-
lost
the
that.
earbuds, yeah.
What? It's been 3 years since the new gen's released almost,
Yeah,
and we
Yeah.
we still don't have like 3D audio for home theater from Sony, and they keep giving us these different kinds of earbuds and an improved headset. Like I understand this whole Tempest audio thing is, I mean, it's great when you have the the earbuds and the headsets that work really well. It sounds awesome, but I want to hear it on my 7.1 surround sound, not virtually. I want to hear actual
Pure.
Yeah.
pure
Yeah.
audio, and that's something that seems like so simple, but we still haven't got it yet. We can do it with the Xbox in like 3 different ways if you really wanted to, and it's stuff like that. It just boggles my mind.
That's just Sony's so into their ecosystem, their proprietary stuff, that it's like they want to sell their stuff and have a closed ecosystem. It's like Apple.
I
They
hate
want to keep
Apple.
everything in house. Yeah.
I get it. But
It's a way to get more money for your, like you said, your ecosystem, and you're gonna have some fans that it doesn't matter what they put. They could put out a PlayStation bib and diaper set, and people will buy it because it says PlayStation on it.
yeah, but you can get a third party SSD for it. So I mean, they didn't come out with a proprietary thing,
True.
for
True.
their expanded storage. I mean, they could do
Which
that
was
kind
a
of
win
stuff.
for me. I like that they went that route.
Oh, I love that. That was
Yeah.
it was one of the best things.
Got
It cost me
choices.
$60. Yeah,
Yeah, but
I'm still
those-
waiting for the Mad Catz Xbox, expansion pack to come
Those,
out.
those NVMEs are 2 different technologies.
Yes.
Get a
Yes.
So
Western
that's
Well,
the
true.
reason why
You
the
can
price hasn't
enjoy
dropped.
it.
Well, they
I
dropped.
mean,
a
it's
little
dropping,
bit,
but
yeah.
it hasn't dropped like it should have, like with the rest of the NVMe and
Sure.
markets that everybody else is so used to with the M.2s. It's a totally different technology, and that's why it's up there, and that's why nobody wants to do it. The ROI on that is very minuscule. That's
Very
why
minuscule. Yep.
only Seagate has it, and now finally WD is going in for it.
Mm.
But again, it's can a monkey put it in or not? You know what I mean? So yeah, most
Yeah.
people can put in an NVMe inside a PlayStation. It's not that big. It's not really that hard.
It took me
But you
less
gotta
than
think
4
of the-
minutes,
the-
dude. I
you
mean,
gotta
it's not
think of these-
complicated.
Yeah, you got to think of these idiots that have no common sense, and they still can't figure out how to put a square peg in a circular hole.
Well, I
They
mean, they're
still
also
keep
on
on
Twitter.
trying.
Shout out to my cousin who snapped 2.5 doing that shit.
Oh my
Fucking idiot.
Oh wow!
Jesus, oh no!
What an
That's
idiot.
terrible.
I mean,
Snapped
just
it in 2. I'm like, what were you doing? Like, what were you doing? Snapped 2 of them.
you know how
like twice.
expensive that is? I mean,
It's very-
seriously.
But now my
Very.
biggest beef with both Sony and Microsoft is, like Dan just said, these consoles, we're 3 years into the gen. Why do we not have any type of game that's even pushing these consoles? I mean,
that's
most
See, I'm
games
with
still
you.
look like they're, from the last generation.
3 years
that-
in,
and
I'm
that's-
still dealing with last
Which
generation.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
shame on the first party devs for not using that and showing that as an example for the third party to also be using those tools. You know what I'm saying? That's shame on the first party.
Yeah, because
for
third
not
party
doing it.
follows suit.
I'm-
If
Exactly.
first party can max out what they max out on their, because they should know
They
their
have-
hardware,
yeah.
right?
They have no incentive. They're just it's status quo. Here we go. You
Well,
know,
they're
they have
still
no
pushing out
incentive.
stuff on their dev kits as well. The dev kits aren't fully maxed out, so they definitely.
And
not
I'm
maxed
sorry, it's time to cut off the
Awesome.
last gen.
I agree.
They have been cutting
Agreed.
off the last gen.
Last couple of games, yeah.
Yeah, for the
Well,
most part.
I think like Ratchet and Clank doesn't get enough love for being that PS5 only game. I think it does a lot more than people give it credit for.
Oh, I love
with
that
it.
game.
It's so good, but I think but Insomniac again, kind of come back to them. They're kind of, they know what the hell they're doing. They just seem to always hit on whatever they do. They did a really good job with the upgrades for Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
Fantastic job, yeah.
Yeah, great job. And Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was that kind of started showing, at least more than anything else, even up till now, what it could do. When we saw, like, I refused to play Plague Tale Requiem until we got.
Didn't they put that performance patch?
It
out?
just came in.
Yeah,
and
last week.
I love that first game, but we talked about it on the big cast, and Travis was always say, oh, you get all those rats, you get that rats per second. I'm like, I don't care about the rats.
I lived in New York. I'm good. I know how the rats per seconds work.
It's when the new consoles came out, I was playing Valhalla to review for the site, and I got my Series X shortly after. And I switched over to it halfway through reviewing it. And I'm telling you something, man, it was night and day difference for somebody who's always played console, has never really experienced 60 FPS on a normal basis. It was a huge, huge difference. And when I see games coming out, releasing only for the next gen that are not properly optimized, it just kind of bothers me. I understand you got to hit, times and dates, and developing games is very, very difficult, I'm sure. But I don't know what the solution is. Is it, okay, we'll delay it, or we'll just wait, or we just toss it, or, you'll get this later, like in Redfall's case. It's just like, I'm going to wait. I'm at that point again in my life where I can be patient, and, I don't need to be playing. I play Hitman. It's like a running joke, literally almost every day. Hitman 3, and I just, I'm content.
With that?
I've had this
Really
conversation with my circle a lot, where it's like, I believe the QA part of like these development cycles have been like really downsized, because it feels like these games are just coming out without even being tested.
Well, the catch is too, a lot of times, because my son actually works in the industry.
Sure.
And he started off, doing QA, and he did QA for EA.
I did QA for EA, Maitland myself. Yeah.
The funny part of it was, if they did mention, anything wrong with the game, it just pretty much got, fell upon deaf ears.
Dude, when I did QA for EA, it was just years ago though. But here in Maitland, I live in Florida. It was our like, we were told every single day how important our position is, and how big the teams were, and how they split them off into different sections of the game. Like you like, this team of 15 works on the main menu. This team of 15 works on the sub menu. Like, it was that vigorous of a process that if we found anything, it gets pushed back. Like, the game, it just, we would be there for hours at a day. Like, for instance, if the game got closer to gold, like for press time, it'll and we found anything, it'll be like, you work your 8-hour shift, and then you get called back saying, we found the bug, you need to come back. The whole team needs to come back and work, overtime just to work that bug out if it was a bad bug. I feel like that process has been diminished over time. Like, it's just not a thing anymore, where they just want to push out the game just to push it out and say, we'll patch it later.
I mean, they're working from home too. A lot of them, they have a different kind of work is different for them too. There's a lot of things that kind of probably go into it, but yeah, it's kind of disappointing, especially as people like us who've gamed for a long time, and we're kind of used to having at least, mediocre quality, for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, hey, this is stable and it works out of the box, and we're good. Yeah,
I think part of the problem for
later.
us is we're also running out of time.
Yeah, we're not
I don't have
yeah.
time to
Yeah.
wait for your 60
That is
FPS
true.
patch. Jesus.
Yeah.
Can I at least make? So I've noticed this, at least an observation I've made. Has anybody noticed since the Gen 9 consoles have come out that bugs and unoptimization have become more prevalent in the industry than ever
Rampant.
before?
It's
And
commonplace now.
it's also starting to create a situation. Also on the PC side, there is now so much competition for PC components, AMD, Nvidia, this guy, that guy. Everybody has these different configurations on their PCs. to where we're starting to see situations where games are coming out better optimized on console than on PC. And at this point, I feel like the entire game industry as a whole, from PC to console, is just this utter shit show, because I honestly do feel that there is something going on behind the scenes with whatever technology that they're trying to get used to using, which is creating some kind of a holdback. Now, whether you guys are saying it's like the QA process has been thrown in the dumpster, or maybe maybe these developers were just not expecting what they got with the architectures that were involved. And I mean, it's just interesting if you really look at it, that there is a huge issue right now with bugs and all sorts of stuff, no matter what platform you're on.
Well, I would add
yeah.
to that, Centurion. I would add, as consumers, we got to take some responsibility for that, because we have
100%.
We have
yeah.
we have cultivated and conditioned these developers and these publishers to say it's okay. They'll deal with the day one patches and patches thereafter. They'll pay $60 now, $70.
Looking at you,
shout out to
Cyberpunk.
Remedy, by the way, $60.
Right. But it also goes deeper than that, because not only are we willing to pay for it and obviously get the patch later, but I'm sorry, but gaming is one of the most toxic communities I can name off the top of my head. And I'm sorry, but when was the last time you saw somebody?
Sports fans.
Huh?
They were sports fans.
Right. But when was the last time you saw a sports fan decide to say, well, if you guys don't get that Super Bowl ring, I'm going to send you a D pick?
Well, I don't know if you're that.
Well, it probably
that might be.
Ask the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
It probably does happen though. That's sadly.
In terms of
don't ask
QA,
things
I think
Never
I have a
mind.
feeling now. I have no game experience in the industry, but I feel like there might be a bit of a corner turning soon. Now that they're dropping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 platforms from the amount of platforms they need to code for now, and we're only moving to 3. So that's a huge burden off devs' backs, man.
Wait till the next Nintendo
I
game
think
comes out.
It's important to subcontract like last gen. If you are going to make last gen versions, like contract that out to someone you trust or a different developer to work on that title separately, and then have the main team work on the current gens. So that way, there's no.
Right?
Well, it's like Hogwarts did it that way. They released for the new ones.
Exactly. That way, there's the parity, because I understand the parity. I understand you want to get it across the board, the same game. You want the game to play fundamentally the same across the board. But when you're talking about a game like Hogwarts playing on a Switch versus on an Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, that's a huge gap. And if you can get the fundamentals going, then fine by that. But don't have the main team work on the same title across every hardware.
But look what happens when you have
agree with
Batman for PC. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22. You have to still pay attention no matter what happens. Whether you nurture it in-house or out of the house, it has to be watched over, because we're going to have the same thing that happened with Scalebound. It just
that's that wound again.
even worse.
I'm used to that whole idea of development.
What?
As being an Elder Scrolls fan, I play on console, but there's also a PC community. The PC community gets their game about a month in advance before I do, and that's the way it's been for years.
Yep. It just depends on who the primary target is first, and that game happens to be PC first. So it is what it is, and I don't see a problem with it as long as they utilize what each platform has as a strength, and actually utilize those strengths. Use the tools. And maybe, I don't know, finish creating the tools. I mean, technically, you'll never finish creating tools, because you'll always come up with something better and kind of go from there. But at least let them mature enough and get these guys starting to work and using them. I mean, that's the problem. They're not using the tools. And if they're not going to concentrate on one thing or another, that's kind of the problem too. They just seem to, like I said, they're just same old, let's go.
You think maybe, because I know there's a couple of us on the panel, we're old enough to remember the video game crash of 1984. Do you
Mhm.
think that at any
about
given that something like that could spring back up, or do you think maybe gaming's too mainstream now?
It's too big.
Too big.
Yeah, it's,
there's
It's
there's
way
too much money.
getting thrown around.
Too much money.
Like
Yeah,
gaming
It's
now,
the
like
biggest form of
completely-
entertainment.
completely dwarfs like Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Millions and billions of dollars to produce a game now.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see it. I think, you're kind of seeing like a lot of these studios kind of focus on smaller scale projects, and you're getting a lot more like passion projects, like kind of like Grounded or Hi-Fi Rush and stuff like that. And
Bleeding Edge.
and they're succeeding for the most part. Especially when nobody knew about them, and they kind of like Hi-Fi Rush's Shadow dropped, and everybody seemed to like it. So I mean, to me, those kind of games are like buffers between big releases. And even then, sometimes I don't even care about those kind of things. I still am wanting that big AAA release, and third party, first party, I don't care what it is. We saw some of like Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC, whatever the hell it is, the Mirage, I think it was. And and that's it's not going to be as big from what I understand, but it also looks like it's going back to the roots of Assassin's Creed.
It looks
And-
like
and
an
that's-
Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, it actually
Right?
looks like
Assassin's Creed 2, yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
Well, don't get too used to that. They already announced that they were going to do premium titles just as big as Valhalla versus the smaller titles. Like Mirage.
aren't they doing like a more of a live service?
Yeah,
Assassin's
They
Creed?
are,
Yeah,
but
yeah, they
but Mirage
shoot me in
is
the face.
supposed to go back to the roots of
Yes.
the older
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed
Right,
games.
which looked
so-
it looked exactly like that when I watched that Mirage on the PlayStation showcase.
And isn't
Mhm.
it's supposed
It
to
looked like
be
they
like
went back to
a
that, yeah.
like a
Mhm.
tighter little 20-hour thing instead of a
Mhm.
bloated 100.
Yeah,
I
hour.
that's-
don't mind that at all.
Keep the
Come on,
animus
Nero.
out
Yeah,
of
I
it.
don't mind that at all. Yeah, the animus. I like the animus in theory, but it's like, just I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get if you're going to start the story, bring me into the animus, and then never take me out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is distracting. I agree.
Or at
Especially
least do what one of the
can't
Assassin's
run-
Creed did, where they gave you the option of wanting to go to the Animus. I forgot which Assassin's Creed did that, where you chose if you wanted to go to the Animus or not. Like you didn't have it didn't force you to go into a story related. It was like, do you want to
I
go
think
back and
that
experience
was-
that story or not?
I think that was Revelations, and I got pissed off at it because there's a missable trophy if you don't choose
Oh,
to exit to go
It
into the
reminded
real
me.
life to do something
Yes,
after a specific mission. I'm like, fuck
you're right.
you.
Yeah, and you had to play the whole thing all over again just to get that achievement. Yeah, or the trophy.
Like, screw off. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's everybody. I agree with what everyone said. I think QA is screwed. I think the whole process is just done. I think that all these companies have gotten too comfortable that we're going to buy the product regardless.
Unfortunately.
And they will patch it, maybe. Although I figure we will be 60 years old by the time 60 FPS hits Redfall.
Nobody will care that bad boy anyway.
Well, yeah.
Does anybody care now if that
I'm
dropped
holding out
tomorrow?
for 120.
Okay, I'm with you. We'll wait for 120.
I did like that Final Fantasy 16's guy said there's not a day one patch because the game's going to be 100% ready to go. On the
Yeah,
day.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
Mm.
I don't know,
Famous
man.
last
It's
words.
like
Yeah, I don't trust it at all.
no, I don't trust anything Square has to say
Well,
anymore.
They're actually using AI now to double check their work, to try to fix some of this stuff. So they're relying on computers to fix stuff that we've done with computers. So it's you know what I mean. So it's like it's a
Hey,
catch
AI is only
22.
so good right
It'll go. But that's the thing. Your computers are smart as how you program them.
I was doing
Exactly.
some dev last week, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this file? And I threw it in there, and 3 days later, I was looking through it again. I was like, holy fuck, I'm missing a right bracket. And I went to chat GPT. Why the fuck didn't you see this miss bracket? It's like, well, I'm not that smart at coding it. I was like, fuck you.
Fucking good on you, man. What good are you?
See,
3
Shinra-
goddamn days for a fucking right bracket missing.
Shinrock says ready to go means playable. You know, that's the bad part. That's probably what they're meaning too.
No, it's minimal viable product. It's the MVP thing. That's what all
Yeah.
these things are.
Going
And,
gold just means you can play from start to finish
Yeah,
without
hopefully.
a game-shattering, ending experience. That's all
Yeah,
gold
now-
means.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
unless the game doesn't let you, like, it crashes to the point dashboard
Yeah.
crashes or just hard
Yeah.
freezes. They don't really. They're just gonna push it out.
Hey, I was
Now,
having that
Guardian.
with Callisto, and it took him 10 updates before I could get out of that spot that I was crashing to the
Wait,
menu.
what spot? What spot?
Where you had to drop down levels.
Yes.
Where you were to that
The catwalk.
yeah, those catwalks.
Oh, I was stuck on
As
that
soon
shit
as you
for
get
2
down to the
weeks.
very bottom, boom, back out to the
It
main
crashed.
screen.
Yes, I was there too.
See,
Game
I'm
was
with
floating
Guardian.
at that point.
Metal Gear is one thing I am looking forward to, but that's going to be multi-platform too. And that's this year, I do believe.
And the audio's
Gear
not
remake?
changing.
No.
Yeah. Well,
No.
not
Do we
exactly.
even know who's developing it?
No.
They haven't even announced that at all.
but
Konami's,
I'm
Konami's
surprised
being all
nobody
sketchy
has
about it.
asked that question. Like, who's doing the development on that game?
Jeff has multiple times. Every time they post about it, because he's still pissed off that they removed Kojima's name from
but it did look
all the
good.
old games. So
Yeah.
Well, I've said it a million times. Kojima needs to be making movies and leave video games
horror
fuck alone.
movies. Horror movies.
Yes.
That's what he needs to do.
No,
That's what he
Konami,
needs to do.
Guardian, Konami publishes the game. They don't develop games at all. So I'm curious to see who they got Metal Gear Solid remake, who they got working on that game. It can't be any worse than the Acid series on PSPs. Those are trippy as hell.
Now, Ilphonic.
Oh,
the lovely
Oh.
people behind Friday the 13th, the game.
oh man.
That's who's going to make it. Well, I better hush because they're also the ones making oh God, Texas
Didn't they
Chainsaw
make the Evil
Massacre.
Dead
aren't they?
game?
Texas Chainsaw. Yep.
No.
Yep.
Don't
And
tell
I'm
me
Oh,
actually
the
gonna
game.
play that one.
That's a game we
Ilphonic
should
did a
pick
good
up.
job with the Ghostbusters game that they just put out.
I'm shocked by that, to be honest.
Like,
it good?
don't get me wrong, it's like the whole world is not talking about it, but I mean, it's a decent game for a Ghostbusters fan, and there's customization. There's a really good concept
Is that
there.
the online one that came out recently?
Oh
The
yeah,
multiplayer one. Okay, I haven't tried that one out yet. Is it good?
yeah. As long as you got a full room, one person plays as the ghost, and there's 4 other
Ooh.
people that play as the Ghostbusters. The ghost does have a distinct advantage. And I'll say it right now, if you have one badass mother effer playing as the ghost, you'll get your ass handed to you. And like, it doesn't matter that it's 4v1. I've seen some ghosts that will, if you have no coordination between the 4 Ghostbusters, that ghost will literally decimate that whole freaking thing.
I'm still
Oh, see, I
waiting.
didn't know that. So it's the whole Dead by Daylight concept, the way they play, the way that game plays.
The
It's like
asymmetric
4v1 or Evolve or whatever.
PvP or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evolve.
Now now what they did do with Ghostbusters is they did shoehorn a little bit of a story experience in there. Like as you play the game, after so many matches, a little bit more of the story unfolds. They did get Stan Wentz to come in and revoice Winston Zeddemore, and they also got Dan Aykroyd to come in and play Ray Stantz. They did a good job of keeping up with the lore. With I forget what you'll find there's Tobin's Spirit Guide. You find out Tobin's Spirit Guide is actually a book that talks, and he actually educates you on how to be a proper ghost and to actually win matches and stuff. So there was actually some good, at least staying true to the lore, and you could customize the proton packs and the traps and your character. So I mean, for being an Ilphonic title, I was not disappointed.
Wow. Maybe they learned after all the flops they've made.
Well,
Yeah,
you
well,
got at least with Friday the 13th, could you say that was really 100%? Literally, they lost the licensing to even do anything with that game.
But dude, I bought the game when it came out. It wasn't a thing with content. It was so buggy. I mean, you could literally, Jason would walk through walls and shit. You couldn't get a door open. I went to jump through a window to get away from Jason and wound up on the other side of the building on the roof.
Oh, that's happened to me. Yeah.
Perfect. We can't reach up there then, right?
At least
Well,
you
that
didn't
was
end
one
up-
good thing. Yeah, he
Yeah.
couldn't get me.
I played a match of Friday the 13th, and apparently all the survivors were all on party chat because obviously, you know, Jason walks around like this big ass tank and can barely maneuver. And these guys would hide in the bush, and one person would run out, slash you with the slash you with a weapon, run back into the bush, and all of a sudden another person would run out of the bushes and do the same damn thing, and you're like getting like death by 1,000 cuts.
That's one way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm still waiting to hear some more about Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game.
Oh,
You know what? That's a good point.
The last thing that they put out that dealt with the game was back in January, and it's like, come
That's
on,
true.
give us some more info.
Well, I think
Jago.
Texas Chainsaw is September, right?
There's a lot of games coming out in September.
And that's actually going to be in Game Pass, by the way.
Even better.
It means I don't have to spend any money on it. I'll just play it in Game Pass.
This
Mhm.
year's stacked for games. Holy Christ! I'm glad I don't buy a lot of games because
We got Alan Wake. We got Alone in the Dark, which looks really cool.
Yeah, I played the demo of that. It lasts like 8 minutes.
Did you
Alone in the
blink,
Dark.
Wummy? Did you blink when you played the demo? Because you missed a lot of you blinked. I think it was short as hell.
Yeah, it was very short. By the
But
time
I
you started getting
appreciate-
into it,
but-
it was done.
But I appreciate the makers of that, the developers or the publishers of that game, and also Alan Wake dropping their prices down. Because for me, and I tweeted this to sell me on a game, it's pretty awesome. First, they did a Alone in the Dark showcase, right? Then they said, "Oh, the prologue is available now. Go play it." And then I checked the prologue, and it said at the end of the demo, it tells you go pre-order. I clicked on it. It's I believe $60 for like the regular version, and 70 if you want like the director's commentary or whatever. But if you pre-order now, they give you a 10% discount on top of that. I'm going, this is how you get people to buy your game. You load up,
Exactly.
you do a showcase. Let me play a hands-on demo of it, no matter how short or long it is, and then you tell me it's set price is 60, not 70, and you get a discount for pre-ordering it. That's how
That's how
marketing
you do
should
it.
be. Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was part of the reason I bought Deathloop, motherfuckers. I pre-order it now because you're a PS Plus person. You get 10% off.
Mhm.
All right, look at all these 10s. It has to be good, right?
Has to
Yeah.
be good, right?
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
And yeah, Jago, you're right. Evil Dead was a lot of fun. I've got a lot of hours into that one. A lot of hours. Gee, I think I've got about 200 hours into that game. Maybe more than that. My only problem was I would keep getting teamed up with assholes that would run
Oh,
off in their
man.
own direction.
No
Useless-
coordination
useless
whatsoever.
randoms.
Yeah, and if that's the case, you're not going to make it. You have to coordinate on that game pretty much, or
You
one guy wants to drive every vehicle and leave everybody behind.
You get the rando with the open mic speaking to his wife or his girlfriend, having an argument. Bro,
yeah.
what are you doing?
Or their baby's crying
Or
and
the
they're
baby
arguing over
crying
who's
in the
going to
back.
feed it.
Yeah.
Dude
Yeah.
blasting his music in the background. It's like,
That guy.
Oh,
jeez.
my favorite is the one that thinks they're a rapper. That's always the fun ones. Yeah.
Now the fun ones are the ones that drop everything to simp when they hear a female's voice.
That's true
It's like-
too.
They start talking on the mic like they're in a bar or something. Like, dude, come on with this, man.
Oh yeah. It online never ceases to amaze.
It's true.
But other than Spider-Man, did anybody find anything exciting? I mean,
Phantom
about the,
blade or
Starship?
sword or whatever that is.
yes, I'm trying to figure out Phantom Blade Zero. So what's
Yeah,
called?
but then
You
I
weren't-
found out it was the developer is a mobile. The only game they've made is a mobile game, and this game has been in development since this year. So I'm like, so how did they show all that if it's just started development? Like that's what.
Which one was that?
I hope it ain't vaporware. Phantom.
the samurai Chinese.
Oh.
Chinese well, I guess it
I'm-
would be a
yeah,
samurai.
I actually took
Combat
notes.
was amazing.
I'm trying to figure
Combat
out what the hell that was.
Like the combat was amazing. I was like, wow, that's pretty neat combat. The way he was just like parrying and everything, and I'm like, okay, that
Right,
looks good.
right.
Then afterwards, I did my little research. I'm like, oh no, it's a mobile developer.
No, I think that one was probably my favorite aside from Spider-Man
Yes.
and Final
Yes.
Fantasy for sure, easily.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say fair game.
Ah,
You weren't happy with the Starship
Hey,
Troopers clone?
I had
Hell
Sat
divers,
down,
yeah.
turned it on. The first thing you see is the PlayStation Studios logo, and you're like, "All right, they're bringing the thunder."
Mm-hmm.
Just Haven. Okay, what are they doing? Oh, here's a CGI trailer. Thanks.
Oh, Marathon. That's another game I was excited for. Dragon's Dogma 2, which Oops was saying in the chat. That was another one I was like, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
that looks pretty cool. I didn't play the first one, but I don't know if it's a direct sequel or you can just hop in or whatever. But
Yeah, I don't know. Arizona Sunshine 2 looked pretty cool.
Yes.
Not enough.
That's VR, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a VR. Not enough to get a VR, the PSVR, but apparently it's
Right.
already on Steam
Oculus.
in VR. So if you got
Part
the
two?
other, 1 and 2, yeah.
Huh.
I didn't know.
I
I
never
found out
even heard
about
of
that.
2 before, but
Yeah, that
And for
Yeah,
someone who's not in
Arizona
the
Sunshine looked
PlayStation
pretty good.
ecosystem like myself, it's a hard sell, man. Like I have to buy the system and the goggles just to
Right.
play. Games. It's a hard sell for me.
I'm already halfway there. I got the system.
You get the system.
Now I got to
okay,
get the other
Yeah.
half.
I'm just with the show going through notes and looking. What made the show disappointing to me was most of the games where I'm like you said, we're canceling out Spider-Man. Most of the games you're sitting there like, oh wow, I'm interested in that. Oh, it's a multi-plat. So it's like, okay, so out of all the stuff that was PlayStation centric, what was really getting you to go in like VR,
Mhm.
which it's like you said, don't have.
Oh,
The
I mean, well,
Arizona.
shout out to Stein though, hitting that button every time like the PR guy for Xbox. Every time they showed off a game, he was hitting that send button through Xbox. It's coming to Xbox. It's on Xbox.
I know.
Yeah.
that's classic. That's I mean,
It
and
was
that's
funny.
a Sony thing. That's a Sony move, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Xbox should have been doing that a long time ago.
It was
Mhm.
very
Same
funny
way.
because Xbox have been needing to take the gloves off for a while.
Mhm.
You know, the sit by the campfire and make s'mores thing was getting a little
Kumbaya.
old.
Yeah, it
So
is.
Yeah.
does anybody like think that the whole gloves coming off and the like dousing the kumbaya campfire was all because of somebody going to world regulators and running their mouth?
I would hope so.
I
I
would
think
hope so.
so.
I would hope so. Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel a certain way. Like at this point, you got to remember.
I think you should just do that anyway, to be honest.
I think that, but I think what it was is obviously Phil Spencer. I respect how he is as a leader because like you don't want like this person in control of everything that doesn't see people as human beings and is just a complete asshole. But at the same time, like you could see, like Phil Spencer has dedicated like over 30 years of his life to Microsoft and furthering the brand of Xbox, and that's where Jim Ryan essentially screwed with that legacy by this whole Activision buyout thing and everything that's going on. And I'm hoping that maybe Phil Spencer kind of took that personally. It was like, you know what? This dude has obviously got something against me and I'm just going to push
I
back.
doubt it. I put this on marketing and the whoever runs the Xbox Twitter channel, because the very next day after they put, oh wow, this is great, all these games coming to Xbox, which was part of the PlayStation show, Aaron Greenberg's on there the next day going, I'm trying to figure out which PlayStation game I'm going to try out next before Diablo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really
Yeah,
think
getting
it's
that.
Phil or the C-suite of Xbox are like changing their idea of what they're going to do next. I think this is marketing and more of the Twitter, whoever runs Xbox Twitter account.
That's
And
the
see,
on-brand stuff from Microsoft. They've been on this
Being
Kumbaya
more
thing for quite
salty.
some time. So
That-
like, you got Phil
that goes
Spencer saying,
exactly with-
congratulations to Bungie and Marathon, and like that's
Right.
that's that whole image they want to keep up. We're friendly over here. It's like, okay, at a
Mhm.
certain point, I get that Phil Spencer is the gamer, and I love that about him. And then Jim Ryan is the business guy that works for them. But I wish we had a balance on the Xbox side like that.
Yeah.
Do you want a guy who's just a gamer though as your
No.
chief
No.
dude?
No, there's-
No,
there's
you need to be
gamer.
a cutthroat
No.
businessman.
There's
to
a
be-
middle.
I mean,
there's a
I
middle
enjoy
ground,
it. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It's fun to see. But
He
at a certain
talks
point,
real
you
nice
gotta
when
cut
he
that
gets
shit
on
off
stage and stuff, but,
just-
like-
I don't know,
recognize
that-
competition.
That last interview he did on Kind of Funny Games, you saw a pissed off Phil Spencer. When was the last time you saw a pissed off Phil Spencer?
Dude's eyes were red.
Dude, I mean, like that dude looked like, he just is like, after this whole interview, I'm gonna go to my gym and just beat the hell out of a punching bag out of aggravation. And that's where I'm just saying, I'm
with a
pretty
Jim
sure
Ryan
that
picture
I would
on
not
the-
be
on the dummy.
surprised if he went back to his office and was like, I don't care what we got to do, but
Mhm.
start like we get, handcuffs off. Let marketing have at him.
I think he was already like that, even when well, obviously with the Redfall, the way it was received. But I think he was already at that point with Redfall. Like he was at it. Like he was trying to hold back so much aggression and so much anger in that IGN interview.
He knew
Like,
about it. He knew it was coming in hot. He had to.
oof.
I
Yeah.
hope
Oh, no,
he
he
did.
did.
I
No,
hope
he did.
He did. He knew. And because they were unsure if he was still going to do the episode after all the
Because
backlash
that was
it
supposed to be
got.
a victory lap, right?
It-
Because
that was
supposed to be,
ABK was
yes,
supposed to
yes.
have been
Supposed to be
cleared,
running
and
around saying
Redfall
it.
was supposed
Yeah.
to
It was
be
supposed to be a
coming out
soft pitch.
awesome, and yeah. So
You
I'm
know
gonna
what,
say
though?
something that's going to get me hated, but I've said it many times.
by who?
I think Aaron Greenberg needs to be replaced.
I'm with the other. Here's the thing though. How does he not know about Redfall and the
That's
state that
the-
it was in?
Yes, that's
You
the
know, I mean, how
conversation
can-
I keep having with
That's-
my guys. Like,
that's
how do
the
you
chain of
not
command.
know- How do you
Right.
not know that game was playing like that? And these mock
Yeah,
reviewers,
but ultimately
guys,
he's
who are them?
responsible, right? I
Yes.
mean,
Ultimately,
has to
they're
be,
all
yes.
responsible.
Well, yeah,
but it's
100%,
still
they
the
should
chain
all
of
be.
command.
That's
You
because
know-
Matt Booty cannot control all those different studios by himself.
that's
But-
what worries me about consolidation. It worries me about all these other things. I haven't seen that level of like we can put out this cadence of first party games and good games and keep them on Game Pass and do this. I mean, I haven't seen that since Game Pass launched. And you want me to buy into we're gonna keep buying all these studios and stuff like that. I mean, I don't care about.
Well, it's fine to
necessarily
buy.
Activision
It's
stuff.
fine to buy all these studios and public, but you're buying mega publishers, and how do you control
See,
all of these
right.
studios? You know
And
what I mean?
that's the thing. ZeniMax is in control of themselves still, even though they're underneath the bigger umbrella. They're still in control of themselves.
Yeah, they're still publishing, right?
And they should be extremely embarrassed of
They
this
should be.
situation. And again, yeah, shit goes right up the hill as well as it rolls down the hill. Ultimately Phil's in charge, just like Satya. They should both be embarrassed of this because they've been, adamantly believing that this is right. But at the same time, they need to go down and take it out on the people below them and be like,
Yeah, they do.
why did
Well,
you tell me this? And again, the people
Yeah.
below them, why did you tell them this?
And
Why?
those
And
mock
then just keep
reviews
on
or
going
whatever
all
that
the way down.
was.
And who lied and said it was 100% ready and it was good to go? Because somewhere there's a breakdown in communication, and because some of the devs were like, yeah, it wasn't ready yet. We were
Well, I
trying to
mean,
push it back.
it's one of it's like trust, right? You trust your team
Yeah.
to deliver you the messages when you can't be there. You're dealing with a big acquisition right now that's taking all your time, so you have to trust your team. And your team's telling you this game is ready to go. Let's go. Let's put it out. The mock reviews are awesome. Just like listen, just like we give praise when Hi-Fi Rush came out, and Phil Spencer's know what he's doing. We have to also balance that out with Redfall. Like it's under his watch. At a certain point, you had to see
And
this.
Tango's
Oh,
under the
yeah.
ZeniMax umbrella, right?
Yes. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
so-
there's someone in a corporate level saying that this has to go out now. I don't care any excuses. Get this ready.
Yes.
So I'm sure that's the person we need to focus on.
Those suits,
Unfortunately,
man, those
whoever's in
suits.
charge has to get the blame first of
So,
all, and then figure
I'm-
out where the breakdown is and fix that breakdown. Just like you're talking about with Aaron Greenberg and the marketing, that needs to be fixed. I don't care how they fix it, replacing him or changing.
Maybe keep him out of a fucking bar and a shoe
Changing
store
the
for a little
roles,
while.
yeah,
Cut down
something.
his vacation time, some shit.
So if I can make the next hated comment to kind of stand over here in the corner with
Oh,
Wilmy
please.
and hated comments. This is one of the things that I have been kind of trying to say, and I'm glad somebody brought up the mock review process. So obviously there is companies that do mock reviews, but there's the other side of doing mock reviews, and that is actually flying people out to play a game. And we all know who they are. The ones that all bragged about being flown out to Arcane Austin.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to tell you right now, we saw some of those guys that were like, "Oh, Redfall's great. Redfall's great." And then they flipped the
videos upon
videos.
videos.
Wait a minute.
Right,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
NDA.
whoa, 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 whoa.
NDA.
Whoa, we are not
NDA.
turning this into another Redfall show.
No, we are not. I'm just saying that
Wilmy,
you're
kept it in
talking
your
about
trailer.
you're talking about Aaron Greenberg, right? Now, this is one of the things I wonder if Aaron Greenberg, Aaron Greenberg is obviously very heavily invested in the community and the gaming community.
Yeah.
And I really feel that Aaron Greenberg is the one that's had this half-ass harebrained idea of allowing content creators to have a huge influence
Yes.
on games. And in my opinion, I think Xbox needs to stop. Like, if you notice, PlayStation doesn't do that. They don't fly content creators out and do all this other stuff and cater to them just for the content creators to flip the script if the game by some chance doesn't turn out good. And PlayStation is really good at controlling a narrative where Xbox is not.
No.
I'm just trying to say that they need to quit relying on the community for marketing a game. I think Xbox needs to
But
start
they're the
marketing
nice
their own
guys,
stuff.
and they talk
Well,
to content
what
creators, and
Sony's
everybody
good at
loves that,
doing
right?
What Sony's good at doing, and they don't care if they do this or not. When a game that's under their umbrella is not ready, they'll either push it to delay, or they'll just cut it completely and say we're just gonna cancel it. Like, they won't take that risk and just put out a game just to put out a game. Say, look, we put out an exclusive out there. That's one thing Sony does that it's one of those things like, okay, I admire that. That's cool.
Well, they just closed down that one studio, right? That did.
And they don't give no shits. They'll just
They were
close
like,
it down.
"Oh, that was not good enough. Bye bye."
You're producing nothing that we want, so we're gonna close you down.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do
But
that.
they let that game get out, though. They still let it get out.
They let it get
And then-
out. Yeah, and then they
Which one
realized
was
it
that?
was garbage.
Which game?
No, they knew it was not up to
Days
snuff.
Gone?
Forspoken.
No. What the?
Oh, Forspoken. That's
No, not
Sony game.
Forspoken. The Pixel something was the studio name. It
Oh,
was, they did
Concrete
it-
Oh,
Genie?
Concrete
Concrete
Genie.
Genie. Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah,
shut
yeah,
down.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just
A little
it didn't
indie
perform like they
game.
wanted to. They probably saw something else. They were probably like, "No, you know what? No thanks. We're gonna dissolve the studio." Whatever they did with the devs, I don't know if they moved on or whatever. But I mean, sometimes that's part of any business.
It wasn't
though,
a
right?
horrible game though.
I mean, it
My wife
wasn't.
and I played it.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was, but the problem being that, it didn't hit what they expected from, their first party studios. And maybe their expectations are way too high because,
That's why I said that Sony is really going to push hard for first party development for single player experiences to do about 15 to 20 million sales for one IP. And that's where I'm standing by. You're going to see maybe one or two Sony titles come out each year that are going to be a single player experience. And that started with Ben Studios and Days Gone. Days Gone did not meet their expectations.
Yep.
And what was the first thing they did? They made Ben Studios into a support studio, and they basically told them, you will never make the sequel to Days Gone, which I had big issue with.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
I think they're working on something new now because they tweeted like before the showcase where they can't wait to show their first game for PS5. So
It's abandoned. I can tell you what it is.
abandoned. Oh my god!
You heard it
There's a
here
game I was
first,
waiting
folks.
for the showcase.
Oh,
Where's
God.
that at?
Yeah, I would have been happy to have seen abandoned Wednesday. That would have been an improvement.
Speaking of bad games, how about that Crossfire Sierra Squad shit?
Oh lord.
I mean, they're still why?
I
Why?
don't know, man. The only redeeming thing out of that entire showcase was Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I
That was
mean, it
it.
really, really was. I mean, a lot of those games kind of look like Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's another problem I have with like the new. Well, I don't know the current. I feel like some of these games could have run like on a PS3 or an Xbox 360. I'm like, you guys
Exactly.
are really pushing that envelope with this new hardware. It kind of sucks, but again, that's me. That's my personal preference. That's what I play the most of. I mean, I'm playing through like Ghost of Tsushima again because I'm bored. And I'm waiting for Diablo 4, and I don't want to get into anything else. Crazy. I mean, there really wasn't anything. I mean, first party or otherwise, short of Spider-Man 2 for me, that really jumped out. That there might have been that one game from whoever they did Journey and Pathless.
Right.
It was like
yeah.
like a weird, like a weird skateboarding something game. I don't know what the hell it was, but I always like their games. So maybe that'll be all right. But hell, I don't know. It might be garbage.
I don't know,
too.
dude. I tried to play Journey, and that shit put me asleep.
Journey will for sure. Play the Pathless
Yeah.
though. That was like my game of the year when that came out.
Like
love
for
that
me with
game.
the showcase, if I like, I watch the showcase as a, like if you're not in I'm not in the ecosystem of Sony, so like when I watched the showcase, I wasn't too disappointed because I saw games that I would play. But if I'm in that ecosystem of Sony, I would question and start going, wait, what's going on here? We're only getting one title this year, and that's Spider-Man, and like it keeps saying fall 2023, but is it going to be fall 2023? Or are you going to really push that out, or what's happening here? Like if I'm a Sony, if I'm in the ecosystem, of course I'm going, what's the plan? What's the future? What's the what do you call that roadmap? What do you got for me coming after after
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
2024 is not looking great.
Right.
So,
There's no path. It's like, okay, what's going on here? If I'm in that ecosystem, I'm questioning that. But as a fan of games, I look at the showcase and go, wow, that's pretty good. I'll play that. Oh, that looks good because it's all multi-platform anyway.
Wolverine.
But now we need
That's
to
the
talk about
rumor.
something different. So
Got
Yeah.
back just in time.
oh, that's hilarious.
So, it's been alluded to at the beginning of the podcast. Some people in chat were talking about it. Colin Moriarty
Jesus.
Oh, geez.
evidently
Yeah, I
said
saw
now
that.
exclusives do not matter. The funny part is we all know, and whether you want to admit it or not, all gaming media seems to hate Xbox, period. I watched a lot of these so-called journalists say, oh, well, the PlayStation, show was good. It was really good.
No,
And
it wasn't.
If Xbox would have came out and shown the same thing, they would have been floored. But
You know what
on
my
top of
reaction
that,
would have been if Xbox came out with that show? I would have been like, same old Xbox, man.
well, yeah, but then you got people like Colin today that said exclusives no longer matter. Although he was the same person just a few weeks ago saying Xbox needs exclusives. You can't have it both ways. The thing is, I don't respect people that can't be true to themselves. If you can't be true to you, how the fuck are you going to be true to everybody else?
Yep.
And I get it. You're trying to get clicks and you're trying to stay, to your brand. To me, I'm a brand of video games, period. I don't care what platform they're on. But the thing is this. If something sucks, it's going to suck. Like, we give Xbox shit, and I'm sitting in an $800 Xbox chair doing this podcast. But the thing is, they fuck up. You called them out for it. I mean, you don't have to go over and over and over on it, all day and all night on social media and on videos. But Sony dropped the ball. They pulled an Xbox on this
Cognito
show.
called them out on that pod. He called them out. He was
Oh,
like,
yeah, Cognito
the
definitely
narrative
called them
is
out.
exclusive matters. Exclusives is what sells consoles. Now you're telling me it doesn't matter? What's going on?
Exactly. If everything was multi-plat, you would only buy one.
Yep.
You
And
wouldn't need to.
those guys have paper fence posts because they keep on moving them.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Very,
I mean,
very
it's
easily.
like, and the bad part, these guys, media sites pick up on their BS. And that's what the media sites run off. And now they're saying, oh, this wasn't the entire show. They were holding
There's a
back.
second show. There's going to be
There's
another
a second
show.
And then I saw another rumor. Oh, they were holding back because of the deal, with Activision. Jim wanted to look like he was weak. I'm here to tell you.
No offense to that.
I'm here to tell you, okay, I get you're on Twitter 24/7. You run a podcast or make videos or whatever. That's great. You have an audience that you have to entertain. I get that. Okay. But to say that Jim was holding back because of a deal between Microsoft and Activision, if that was even remotely real, the stockholders would have his head.
Yeah, you're talking about the same Jim that's been adamant and vocal about this whole ABK thing, not holding
Exactly.
back. All of a sudden now he's holding back games.
I mean,
And
I
he
don't
answers to his investor. He answers to them. Like, clearly
yeah,
answers to
and
them.
now today, I'm seeing that they're going to buy the lovely people that made Cyberpunk.
Wait, the same
guys.
Cyberpunk that they banned from their storefront?
Yes, the very
Oh,
yeah.
same.
That one's
thing.
floating around
CD
again
Projekt
today.
Red.
It's what's that one go on? About a 6.5 month recycle window.
But
Oh,
you
yeah,
they
dude. I
can't
mean,
hide because their government owns a good portion of that company. The government would have to sign off
Totally.
for them just for them to be bought.
They
No,
gave
you
them
now
money.
see Scrub. Now you're bringing logic to this whole conversation. You got to stop that. Like
And
you're
see,
That's
the
why I
funny
keep
part-
saying, why does this keep coming up? Because we know that it's not going to happen, but people keep putting it out there. Just like EA keeps saying, we want to put out games, but if somebody wants to buy us, but I'm like, you do that every first quarter of
Yeah.
the year. You say we still looking at an option of possibly being bought.
Well, hell, I do too. They can come in and buy my company. I'll go ahead and retire. But I don't think they'd want to do what I do. But the thing is, and this feeds back into what everybody on this panel has said. If that's part of where the problem lies, you have content creators, you have journalist sites that are, let's face it, they're full of shit. And that's giving them credit. And a lot of people don't know how to research for themselves.
Oh, that part sucks. I hate the critical thinking
And-
aspect of the whole thing is gone.
Oh yeah, people
Yeah.
believe everything some of these people say. I mean, that's just the way it works. They cannot think for themselves. And I've seen it. I've been on many podcasts, and I mean a ton. And I've watched the chats in all these different podcasts. I've been on Xbox centric podcasts and PlayStation. Hell, I even did a Nintendo podcast, and I hate Nintendo. Yeah, that was interesting.
Mm.
But the thing is, people believe these people. And that goes right back into the whole gaming thing. And that's part of the entire problem. And we'll never change it. It's never going to change. Ever.
It's why IGNs and the Kotakus of the world. It's why they run these articles, because they have their finger on the pulse when it comes to the fan base of these consoles. They see how we react in the community, so they make articles out of them. They clickbait. It's easy, low hanging fruit.
Exactly.
That's why you guys should all go to seasongaming.com. No ads and unbiased media. You're welcome. That was my plug for the day. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that again? I didn't have my pen.
Come on.
Say that again one more time.
Seasongaming.com. That's where we're
There
at.
you go.
Yeah, let's
There
do
you go.
that. Let's do it, guys.
No
No ads.
S-O-N.
It's ad free. That should get you right there. Get over there. No pop-ups. We're no IGN. We're better. That's what I say.
Honest gaming journalism. Love it.
That's right.
So do I get my free membership for a free website?
It's all free.
Sweet, free.
Everything's free. Look at this.
And see, we were actually going to do the same thing. We were going to start a site. Actually, we did start one, but here was the catch. I don't want to give everybody my opinion on everything. And neither did anybody else.
That's fair.
I mean, it's like, try it for yourself. I mean, don't always just be a sheep.
Oh, I'm
There's
big
way too
on
many
that.
sheep in the world.
I am so big on that. Like I understand reviews and critics and all that stuff, but at a certain point, I've been gaming since I'm 45, going 45 now. I've been gaming since Atari 2600, ColecoVision, all that stuff. At a certain point, you got to trust your gut when you see these games and understand what you're looking at and respect what you enjoy playing. Like if there's a certain genre that comes out and you don't play those games, chances are you might not like it because it's not your style. But I see too many people rely on reviews and Metacritics and all that stuff. It's like, I'm not going to get it because everybody else saying it's bad. It's like,
that feeds into what gets made.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. See, and that's where, again, I'm going to reiterate it. They need to sit there and actually tell us the facts about the game, and then they can give us the opinion on what they think based on their gameplay. After that, who cares? You know what I mean? But if you don't tell us the facts about the game and you just tell us all the opinion, or you just tell us that the game sucks because it's on Xbox, or the game sucks because it's on PlayStation.
And there's no details. There's just nothing to it. It's just, it sucks. This one was better, this one's bad. Why? Tell me
this
why.
game sucks with no reason, and this game over here has issues, but it's still a perfect 10.
And see, but the thing is,
there's no medium ground.
I'm going to use it as an example. Okay, Redfall. If Redfall would have came out and it would have been superb, right? The game could have been flawless. Everything could have worked properly. It could have been an amazing game. All these different sites and all these different podcasts that don't like Xbox and Microsoft would have gave this game shit regardless.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, exactly. Or they would have just downplayed it to the point where a lot of people would not have even wanted to play the game. So the game never would have really taken off anyway, unless you were a diehard Xbox fan. But most likely everyone that was, it wasn't on their radar. They watch these guys, listen to their podcasts, see these sites. So they're not even going to touch the game. They're never going to play it for themselves. And that happens with a lot of different games. And that's why now what we're seeing is, and I say it all the time, a lot of games are basically carbon copies of others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many fucking Assassin's Creed games have we had now? We get one a year. Call of Duty, we get one a year. These games really don't even fucking differ. I mean, especially Call of Duty, this shit's all copy and paste pretty much. But they're the biggest sellers because why? If you make anything different, some gaming site's going to give it a bad review, or, some podcaster or, content creator is going to do the same thing. So these audiences aren't going to touch it.
Hey,
So
now, those content creators are our saviors.
The developers sit back and go, well, this game didn't do well, so ditch it. We're not going to make part 2. And they just keep making the same fucking games over and over and over.
Well, this goes back to what you said earlier with the whole content creation. Like, for example, with Call of Duty, you have your Charlie Intels and your Call of Duty, accounts that are out there on Twitter and have YouTube channels. And like they sit there and shit on a game all day long that they make money off of. It's like
right.
Charlie Intel, like since I believe Vanguard has just been, I hate Vanguard, but he's been shitting on Call of Duty and like always like you're shitting on Call of Duty, but you're the same guy that every year says, "Oh, this next game's gonna be awesome," and then it comes out, I loved last year's game better. You mean the same game you shitted on for 12 months? Now you like it because it's just where's the balance? Where's your foundation at? Where's your integrity? Like where's that all that? Like it's just
hate and controversy
is
sells.
gone, dude.
Yeah.
Hate and controversy sells.
You watch them long enough. You watch them long enough, and you read their tweets or social media or like YouTube channels long enough. They circle back and they fall apart. Their own foundation crumbles because they don't stick to what they like. They don't like you said earlier with me. They don't have no belief in anything. They just say shit to just get clicks and views.
There's no integrity or ethics.
I like when people get called out and they're like, "Oh, you're such a sad person to go keep receipts." No. Well, if you wouldn't say dumbass shit all the time, then it wouldn't be that.
I'm just trolling bullshit excuse. I'm just trolling. JK,
be a little harder to call you.
You're not trolling
when you.
Yeah, you got called out and now you don't know how to react. That's what it is.
The word I hate is when they try to say it's just satire.
It's yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Lord Jesus.
It's satire.
What are you,
Actually,
Monty Python, for fuck's sakes?
No, we were making fun of that for a long time on this podcast. Because there was a certain couple of content creators that would say that all the time. Wasn't their sin.
Oh yeah, yep. That's where I got the word from. Was from a few of them. I was just like, satire. What the hell? That's it.
But yeah, I mean, it's sad, man, because people can't make up their own mind for shit at all. Not anything.
I think I'm maybe like in the middle on this. I think there's a place for certain content creation. I think what some of these companies are doing by, inviting them to their studios to, preview the game and stuff like that, to get the hype level up. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm fine with like Metacritic or OpenCritic and the aggregate sites and different, a lot of us will find like that one or two people that we have kind of similar tastes with, and we'll kind of watch their content. Generally I'm not a big fan of them. I just kind of want my news, and I want, give me what the facts are. I'll make up my mind by myself. I can also watch a video though, and like for Golem, and I've watched a few of them, and I'm just like, this game is definitely not for me. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not going to pass judgment on it, but I can tell that's not up my alley, because of those people. Because if they weren't there, I would be kind of having to roll the dice. or if Metacritic and OpenCritic, wasn't there, where a game comes in at like a 30 or whatever that did, it's like, what, maybe I won't, I'll
Hey,
wait
it
for a
got a
sale
40.
or something like that. Whatever it is. I mean, it's low. It's lower than normal, so, excuse me. I think there's a place for those things. I think, bigger websites like IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, all those guys, they all kind of take advantage of the clickbaiting. It can get pretty bad. I tend to ignore them. Actually, I think I have most of them blocked on Twitter because I don't care what they say.
I'm the same way, dude.
Yeah, I can't. I have no interest in, I'll get some general news. I'll do my research. I'll find out, like Jedi Survivor is a good example. I love Star Wars.
Ooh, I
Love
love
Star
Jedi
Wars.
Survivor. Oof.
Right. And that was one of those ones where it took like actually friends of mine to convince me to pick it up, because I was kind of disappointed in the state that a lot of people said it released in. And they weren't wrong. I mean, it was kind of rough there at the beginning, but I paused. I let it sit for a little bit. They came out with a couple patches. Still not the best, but again, my fandom for Star Wars will kind of take over. But I took it. I found out what everybody said. I kind of did a little bit deeper research. Because everybody's saying something different. It's like, oh, I got it on PS5 and it runs perfectly fine. Well, I got it on PS5 and it runs at 20 frames per second. So you have to kind of be able to distinguish what the bullshit is,
Yes.
and where, and kind of discern who is generally an honest person and who's generally, not as much in it for the clicks as somebody else maybe. But I mean, that's how they all get paid anymore. So it's, all that ad revenue and,
Oh yeah.
search engine optimization and all that other stuff. They've got to do their things, and that's fine. We as consumers, I think, need to be able to just separate the wheat from the chaff, and that's
Trust your instincts. Trust
that's
your
what you gotta
gaming.
do.
Your gaming experiences and how long you've been playing and what you've been
Right.
playing. And stick to your genres, what you like playing, because we all have our favorite genre. My go-to, just like Scrub,
100%.
is Call of Duty. I know the damn thing comes out every year, and I know it's a copy and paste, but it's my go-to title, and I know what to expect from it.
Mhm.
It's just, at the end of the day, you've got to, like what you said, you've got to distinct, take out the bad from the good and understand what part of it is legit a gripe and what part of it is just clickbaity. And I think for the most part, you can tell that nowadays with these sites. You can tell what's clickbaiting, what's not clickbaity. Unfortunately for me, when I see a title that's just clickbaity, I don't click on it because I'm going, and most people go, no. But if you click on it, it's a valid article. Like, I can't get past the title.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't get past that.
Yeah, I understand that. There's, speaking of titles, I mean, like the ones where they use puns all the time, it kind of drives me
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Like with all the whole Golem thing, like me hates it, and all this. It was just, I was just like, come on, guys. Or like Redfall was like this one sucks.
A lot of
Yeah.
content to sink your teeth in.
You're right. God, oh my God. It was every single one of them. And then if you actually read the reviews, you go through there and it's like, oh my God, the puns. Enough with the puns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not original because everybody is doing it. It's terrible. God, it just drives me crazy.
My favorite is the thumbnails with the faces, the thumbnails,
Yeah.
with the videos and the
Yeah.
faces, like they have, like they got they're constipated or whatever. It's like, what are you doing in that picture, dude?
Cream Mass Fly. He's a good one, isn't he? Yeah, he is good thumbnail.
Yeah, I just
Rhymes
don't,
with.
I don't know.
But I'm generally with you guys. I mean, it's kind of getting annoying to kind of have to do all that work. So, what comes across my timeline, though, after years and years and years of curation on Twitter, is mostly good. It's mostly okay. That's fine.
Yeah, man, you got to mute and block. Otherwise,
people
are like, "Oh, Twitter's so toxic." It's like, do you use mute and block? Because I do.
I'm learning.
Timeline's awesome.
I'm learning mute and block, but sometimes even the ones that are been good on my timeline,
sometimes it sneaks
they'll screenshot and say like they think they're doing me a justice, or like a service by screenshotting the account and not retweeting the account. Like, you're still putting them out there. Like, you're still showing me this guy's being.
You're still giving them the attention
still giving
that their
them-
father
yeah,
didn't give it to them.
Exactly. It's like,
And maybe their uncle did give them that attention. Who knows?
yeah.
But yeah, it's sad, dude. It really is, and it really is hard to find people that are 100% honest. But that's in anything too.
Yeah.
Especially if you go car shopping, then it becomes really
Oh,
obvious.
fuck me. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
got
you
just
just
that
got-
experience.
You just got to find the people that you have already seen some of their work. They
Mhm.
have some of the good ideas, or they like the same stuff that you like, and it kind of works with you, and build a rapport with what they're putting out, and go by that. Along with, because a lot of these games, if you just wait to your opinion, some of them you'll never play until months behind, or you'll never play them at all. So I appreciate some of the people putting the information out, but you can really easily tell the difference of, hey, like since they were saying, some of these Call of Duty channels putting out a video every day, every single day. It's high quality, but it's only so they can get the eyes and increase the money coming in. So and a lot of times you're going to find that from your smaller YouTubers. You're going to find a lot of that through your podcast versus the Twitter and whoever
Yes.
has the shiny new channel. You see a lot of that through that. So I think the situation of these companies not being truthful, being very transparent, or where their fandom lies, is just helping out these smaller content creators.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And then you got
Dogpiling
some
is the
dudes.
thing.
You got some dudes doing like 15 podcasts a week, 2 and 3 a day, and I'm like, how the fuck do you get the time?
I
to
have
do
no idea.
I'm
don't forget the
retired,
spaces in
Boomy, and I
between.
don't know how the fuck these people find time to be on 15
Twitter
different
spaces
pods
in
a week.
between. Gotta get
And-
in those.
And 8-hour Twitter
much.
spaces. Like, where the fuck do you find
No
the time?
shit. No shit, dude. I don't know where they got that kind of free time. How the fuck are you
And I'm a
gaming?
retired. I'm a retired early retirement guy, and I'm like, I'm on Twitter all day long, but I still mow my lawn. I still love my wife. I still talk to my kid. Like, where do you find the time to do 8-hour like Twitter spaces and then 15 different pods to repeat yourself over and over again?
Because you know you ain't playing games if you're doing
From
all
mom's
that.
basement.
Right. It has to
Because
be.
you're trying to put your name out there so you can start making money, monetizing.
I guess. I've done 2 Twitter spaces last year and really wasn't impressed.
I still don't even know what they are, to be honest with you.
I've
So-
done I went into maybe 1 or 2 last year, and I regret it because it was just instant.
It's like a dynamic
personal
podcast where the
attacks.
host
Well,
can
it's like
choose who can talk.
the thing is, Twitter Spaces can be used for good. It could be that platform that like in between if you have a pod, say for example, or a channel on YouTube and you stream or you're a streamer, like you could use Spaces for like to benefit that, but that's not what these guys are using it for. They're using it to
No.
literally like it's a high school clique. Like when you were back in high school and you went to the cafeteria, you had your geeks over here, you had your jocks over here. It's one big old circle jerk. You go in there and they're all stroking each other's egos about what's good and what's bad, and then they personally attack each other.
Well, it's
As
like
if-
any. Yeah, it's like any technology, though. You got Twitter Spaces, you got NFTs. They're all good for what they're intended for, but people find a way to make it evil, and then
Always, yeah.
destroy it.
Weird.
You know what I
It's
mean?
like,
They
you got
destroy the
something
benefits out
good.
of what it would have been.
Yeah, it's a good tool to use, but unfortunately, it's been used for the wrong things.
You look at-
Exactly.
You look at the deep fakes. They were good tools to use, and now
Mhm.
they've been used to do devious things.
It'll be the same thing with AI, with the Chat GPT and all
Yeah.
that. It's just going to be used for devious things.
It's exactly. It's
Yeah,
unfortunately
like
that's
creating
what's going to happen.
Skynet. Because
Well-
that's happening.
And on that note, gentlemen, we're going to call it.
All right.
We're going to start getting everybody out of here. And first, we are going to let our guest speak. Dan, thank
Sir.
you, sir, for joining us. It was fun.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's a good
Haven't had-
time, man. Good
Haven't
talk.
had a chance to talk to you in a long time.
Right, man. I'm
But-
glad we came on.
Tell everybody where they can find you, Dan, and tell them exactly where to find you.
Yeah. I try to keep a low profile. I try to keep the circle small, as it were. Makes it a lot easier. But I am on Twitter at D Rodriguez WDSC, and that's about it. It's really the only place I am. Bitcast on Sunday mornings, 11 Eastern. The Season Gaming Bitcast. I'm there with Ains and Hogue and Travis, and we have a good time. We all kind of it's funny because we all have very, very different opinions, but we all kind of get along. It's like a bunch of brothers, and we don't know why we hadn't been doing this sooner or getting everybody else on. But it's kind of nice when you get some people together and they kind of gel and it just kind of works. Yeah. Jago, yeah, don't find me. That's what that's the whole
exactly. Look for me.
But no, if you want to check us out, I think we Ains runs a pretty good ship over there. They also can check out seasongaming.com. I haven't written anything since Kina, the review for Kina, Bridge of Spirits. It's been a long time. But
it's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long while. But everybody else is continuing to write. We have a lot of good stuff over there. We have a whole section on good in gaming, a lot of positivity for people talking about different good parts of the gaming industry and how it brings people together, how it helps people with mental health challenges. A lot of good articles in there that you can read and reviews. Ains is reviewing Diablo 4 for us, which will drop whenever the embargo's up, Tuesday maybe. So I'm excited to see what he has to say. That's how much I'll say. I'm super pumped to play that game. So that's a 100% day one purchase. But thank you, Wilmy. I appreciate you guys having me on here. It's been awesome.
Oh, dude, it's good to have you back.
Oh man, anytime. Hit me up.
And Sensei, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Oh, shit, my turn again. Well, I'm on Twitter. Most of you probably know me by Twitter, and I tweet a lot. I like keeping fanboys in check on both sides. Well, not in check, but just keep my opinion my own. When I say shit, and that's about what I do on Twitter. But I do have a podcast, much smaller podcast, but I don't do it for the fame or the glory. My podcast is mostly celebrating games, Xbox centric, but I also talk about Nintendo and sports and a bunch of different things. I do it with my co-host, Logic, my brother. But we do it Sundays before the show, 4:00 p.m. Eastern time. But you can find me there if you want. I'm a gamer, man. I'm 44 going on 45. Been gaming, like I said earlier, since ColecoVision, man. And all I want to do is enjoy games. I don't care what console, what platform it comes on. I just want to enjoy the games. So I'm a gamer in that sense. So yeah, you can find me there on my YouTube channel, Sensei's Thought Podcast, and you can find me on Twitter under Sensei.
At least I still feel good knowing Dreadpool's still a little bit older than me.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, and thank you, Wilmy, for the invite. This was an awesome time. It's hard to go onto a pod as a guest or even listen to any pod nowadays without it being overly like fanboyish. And I enjoy this. Like it was a good conversation to have, man, and I appreciate it.
Anytime, dude. Well, if you notice my timeline, I've got a little bit of both. I put Xbox on there, PlayStation on there. You'll see everything except Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I despise Nintendo.
I can't do it anymore.
I despise Nintendo.
All right, Dread. Tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yes. Thank you to our guests for coming on and hanging out with us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to everybody in chat. Love you guys, and everybody that's listening after the fact. Thank you for stopping in and listening. Of course, you can find me, Dreadpool, on YouTube, and Dreadpool with O's are actually zeros on Twitter. And you can find everything from there. You can find all the links to everything else that I do. Friday mornings work with Boom. Right now, I'm a guest panelist for iconic video games for Good Morning Xbox on Sunday mornings. So just trying to help out, but that's it. So Scrub Nurse, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, well you can find me on Twitter, Scrub Nurse 3. You'll see me doing some, a lot of retweeting and then some Call of Duty videos every now and then. You can find me on Twitch at Scrub_Nurse. And then just let's have fun. I'm excited. You might not see any Call of Duty videos for a while. I'm excited. I'm really excited for Diablo to come out. So this is my first really big, deep jump into Diablo. So it's going to be fun. Thanks, Sensei and Dan, for coming out. We appreciate you guys. And everybody enjoy yourself. Memorial Day tomorrow. Understand
Yes.
the reason. And everybody be safe while you're having fun.
That's it. Remember, don't get in any trouble because the courthouse doesn't open until Tuesday.
That's right.
All right, Piniac, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You can find me here Sunday nights, 7 p.m. with all these lads here. And shout out to Sensei and Dan for coming on. It was a good show, guys. Good chat. Chat was great. And Penny X Giant on Twitter. Wish I could say I was getting in on the Diablo train, but I don't think it's happening. So
I am the fucking locomotive for that bitch right now.
yeah, I'll be playing something from my library, I guess.
We're gonna play Gollum.
Gollum.
No.
All right,
As much as I love
Centurion.
Lord of the Rings, that game, no thank you.
Centurion, tell everybody where they can find you, dude, because I know you got to get out of here.
Oh, dude, man, I made it to the end of the damn show. All right. Thank you to both our guests. It was really nice to meet Dan. It was really great to have a conversation again with Sensei. Sensei, this is our second podcast we've been able to conversate with.
Mhm.
We also had some interactions on Twitter. For those interested in finding me, please locate me at Centurion1307, YouTube, Xbox Live, Twitter, all that fun stuff. You can also find me here every Sunday, and you can also find me on the TXR podcast right after this show. And Wilmy, let's go ahead and let you close this shit out.
Well, you can find me here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Twitter. My new handle is right there under my name, Wilmy Hood #2. And you can find me on Xbox and PlayStation and Steam. Just look for Wilmy Hood. And that's it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Basically, overall, none of us were really impressed with the show. So, yeah, that's about it.
Not even me.
Hey, it was a pretty good Xbox show showing off some Sony stuff.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Status quo.
But
I mean, they're all about sharing games. This is how you share games. I guess
That's
was
it.
they took it literally. Yeah.
yeah, they literally did it. But on that note, thanks everybody for joining in the chat. And like I said earlier, be good because the courthouse doesn't open until Tuesday, so you're gonna be stuck. And on that note, we are out of here. So everybody have a great weekend, what's left of it, and then form your own opinion. Play some fucking games.